How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to Blade Bias. If it sounds sick, it is because I am a little sick. I have been a little sick for the past couple days. But today is the day that I finally give BRS a chance. I have, for a very long time, made it very abundantly clear I am not interested, nor do I ever feel like I will be interested in BRS products, for various reasons. But recently, somebody asked if I would like to proxy them a few BRS products because the original owner doesn't want to ship up to Canada. And I said, sure. So we'll start with the one that I am the least hyped for. This is the, what is this? This is the Hammer Chab, not the regular BRS Chab. The handles are a little different, and it's Hammer Designs. He makes a bunch of cool mods and stuff. And Alpha Beasts in general, this included. Now, to preface this, I have tried a few BRS products at Blade Show. I got to spend a little bit with a whole bunch of different things. Alpha Beasts in general are just not for me. They're not very comfortable for me to flip. I don't like how heavy and slow they are to me, especially Chabs. Stock Alpha Beasts are a little bit better. I find them to be a lot more enjoyable. Still not something I could see myself ever really wanting, but Chabs especially are just way too slow and clunky for me. I'm gonna turn this light on, it'd probably be a little better. I just, they're just not for me. Might as well open the window a little bit as well. I'll just open my blinds. But yeah, Chabs are just not. I've just never liked Chabs, really. Never personally taken much interest in them. They're just not for me. My tastes are in the opposite direction of lightweight, thinner, just more comfortable, softer materials, huge chunks of angled titanium with no real rounding and nothing really for comfortability. It's really just not for me. And tank pins are not that swag, but oh well. Now, the rep, on the other hand, I like a lot more than I thought I would. Now, before you go commenting, saying, oh my god, he likes the rep, he's finally going to buy a rep, here's all the parts you should get, don't. Because I still don't really see myself owning a rep, for a few reasons, mostly being price, and from what I hear, they are a pain in the ass to deal with, just because of hardware things and all that. So this is a rep. It is these are full channel spacers. I think reps come stock with just like they're fully sandwiched. I could be wrong on this. I'm not very in tune with BRS products. I don't really see. I'm gonna be completely honest with you, Chief. Taking a sandwich balisong and adding full channel spacers to it is one of the dumbest things I have personally ever heard of when it comes to balisongs. Because why would you take a sandwich balisong, right, and remove all of the benefits of a sandwich balisong without gaining any of the positives of a channel balisong? I don't really understand it, because the main benefit of a channel balisong is that it's only like 2 pivot screws and there's no extra hardware. There's nothing that could go wrong, so your tuning's better, your durability is better. Overall, it's going to be a more solid balisong. But when you have a sandwich balisong with channel spacers, you remove the grip that sandwich adds, and the only reason I could think of you wanting to do that is for weight purposes. But at that point, I don't know, it just doesn't seem worth it to me. I really don't understand the point of having channel spacers in a sandwich balisong. Kind of just feels like you're stacking negatives without getting any positives back. Really don't understand it. Don't see the benefit. But hey, to each their own. But the rep is nice. The rep is, it feels a lot more solid than I thought it would. This rep is pretty beat up, and it still feels pretty good. You can see it's very dirty. The G10 is very chunked into. The blade is completely destroyed. It's completely tipped, and the tip is completely rounded. But as for reps they feel nice. The handles are, they're not rounded. Well, they are rounded, right? It is a very, 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 very subtle arc to it. It is nowhere near something like the Vortex is, especially not like something like the Telestro is. It is a very, very subtle, just raise in the middle. And I actually really like that because it's still square enough where I feel like with rounded handles, I tend to get lost and I tend to like lose. Like it tends to want to roll over on me, and like especially when I'm doing things like cherry pickers, it tends to want to just like keep rolling, and that is not good for the things I like to do. I just not a big fan of rounded handles, but the Rep has a very, very subtle rounding to the G10, which I actually am a huge fan of. I really like the way this feels in the hands to flip. Now, for flipping, the G10 itself is not... I think it is because this is such a beat and worn in Rep. It doesn't feel chalky at all. It actually feels really, really good, and I think that might be the case. I think G10 might get better the more you use it because it starts to wear in a little bit and starts to be less abrasive and chalky. So I think that's just kind of what I'm discovering with G10 is the more you use it, the better it feels, which is unfortunate because if you get a new G10 product, it kind of feels like ass, but hey, that's just me. But for flipping wise, now the thing about Reps is that you can customize them because of the platform that they are. You can make Reps flip however you want. You can make a completely neutral Rep, you can make a strongly blade bias Rep, you can make a strongly handle bias Rep, you can make a 7-ounce Rep, and you can make a 3-ounce Rep. Now, the limits of what is considered a BRS replicant seem to be completely gone, and as long as it runs on Rep hardware and Rep Tang geometry, apparently you can just do whatever the hell you want, because I have seen some things that are like literally everything. I almost just decapitated my toe. I have seen knives that are an entire new design. Like literally every part of them is completely new, but the pivots were based on Rep geometry, like they're the same distance apart. Like you could theoretically put the blade on stock Rep handles, and that makes it a custom Rep. I really don't know what the defining limits are, but it seems to me like if you can put the parts together with a stock Rep, then it is considered a custom Rep. If I were to get a blade that is completely different or handles that are completely different, and it fits on stock Rep parts, then it's considered a stock Rep. I believe that is what the limit is. But as for the stock Rep, the default Rep, I actually like the way they flip quite a bit. They carry momentum pretty well, you know, just overall, it's a good taper to the handles. They feel really nice. The hole cutouts do a good amount to add grip. There's some cool stuff in some cool places. I really like this little section here for when you're doing things like that, where you're throwing it over, you kind of dig into that. I really like just the G10 on stock Reps. Now for flipping, like I said, they have a good taper. Also the blades, I know there's a few different blade shapes. This one is so like beat in that I'm not sure exactly which. I think it's just the default like Tonto blade, but it's just obliterated. But I've tried a few different Rep blades, and I like just the default ones because they kind of bulk up towards the tip to give it a little more tip weight, and it makes Reps carry momentum very, very well. Kukri Reps are probably also really nice. Kukri blades are great for carrying momentum. So Reps in general carry momentum well. They do a lot of things like, like cherry pickers and rollovers very well. And the handles are such a slight, okay, I can't flip, geez. The handles are such a slight rounding that it's very, very comfortable, and I actually really, really enjoy the way these handles feel, because I am not a fan of rounded handles. I don't like the handles on the Vortex. I don't like the handles on the what is it called? What was I just gonna say? Like the gyration stuff, I don't. It's cool, but it's a gimmick that I get sick of very fast. The Telesong Z handles I really don't like because those aren't even rounded. Those are like the flat sides, and then it goes out. Like it's I don't know how to, like, it's not a circle. It's more of like an elongated oval, and it's I don't like it. It's gross. It feels bad to me. So it's I don't know how to explain it. It's like one of those it's like a NASCAR track where it's like straights, like you have your straight and then it goes all the way around, and then you have your straight again, then it goes all the way out. Like, it's not a perfect circle. It's like very tall, and I don't like it. But this is just a very subtle, like mostly flat. It's just that slight curvature, like a very, very slight couple degrees of curvature, and that's it. And I really like that. It gives you kind of the benefits of both, and I can see why reps are so popular with a lot of people. Price wise, buying a new rep is way too expensive for me to justify. I think that, I don't know, the defining limits of what is and what isn't a rep is very weird to me. And if I was gonna buy one, I would probably just get like a stock rep and just kind of change the just maybe change to like some carbon fiber scales or something, because I like the way that the stock rep is. I don't feel like I'd really want to change anything except maybe making it lighter, but also trying to keep the same balance, because it flows very well. Like, I have not, besides me dropping it because I just haven't been flipping much, I have not really wanted this to be balanced any differently. I feel like it's a very nice, flowy balisong. I feel like it responds very well to basically everything I want it to do, and I don't have any real concerns with the rep and how it flips. So yeah, the rep is something that I think is cool. Now, one of the main things that is a downside with the rep is that they are apparently a complete nightmare to tune, because of all the screws and all the parts and all the pieces. They can be a pain in the ass, and I know multiple people who say like, oh, you can drop your rep once and then like you just have to like bend shit back into place sometimes. That's just the way reps are, and reps can be a pain in the ass to work with, which is a huge something that I'm not a super huge fan of, because I do not like, I don't know, something about a knife being annoying to work with will make me not want to use it just because I'm weird. But yeah, reps, very, very cool. I'm a fan of stock reps. I think they are too expensive for me to ever really want to buy. However, I do think they are good products, and that's annoying. But at the end of the day, yeah, it's cool. Reps are nice. It flows very well, at least the stock ones. And like I said, the cool part about reps is that you can make it to be literally whatever you want. But, you know, in the process, those can get very, very expensive. Or you could also find some pretty cheap parts and make a beater rep for pretty cheap. Which, if I do ever end up getting a rep, that is what I'll end up doing. I'll end up trying to build one for like $200 maybe. But I don't really see myself ever really getting a rep, just because, I don't know, they flow really well and they're very nice, but they are kind of a little, I'm not comparing it to the Kraken, but it gives me that same kind of like old reliable kind of feeling, where I feel like if you got really comfortable with a rep in the same way if you got really comfortable with a Kraken, you could learn to your highest potential and you could be the best flipper you could possibly be. However, that reliability and that kind of standard and just basic nature of it also contributes to it feeling very boring after a while. And over time, you kind of it kind of starts to feel pretty bland. But that's where customization of reps come in, because you can have one rep. You can have one rep that over the course of a few months can be 7 different balisongs because you just keep swapping parts around. Like, this rep would feel miles different from a titanium slabbed kukri blade rep. And even though they're both still replicants, those will be completely different knives in terms of experience and all that. So at some point, I don't even like calling certain custom reps, I don't even like calling them replicants, because they are barely even replicants. A BRS has nothing to do with some of the knives that are replicants. Like if you get a blade from Revenge of the Blades and you get like a fully Damascus, like absolute, like a masterpiece, then you get titanium slabs from like Minecraft Chicken God or Blox Toys or someone like that. BRS had nothing to do with that. They just gave you like the hardware and I guess the foundation to stand on, but not a single part of that knife is from BRS. So it's barely even a replicant at that point. It's almost like its own custom thing in general. But that's not to say like you shouldn't call it a rep. I'm just saying that's kind of how I feel about some of the custom reps, is that is barely even a rep in the first place. And in a way, that's very cool, because you have these makers that are technically making rep parts, but in reality, they're making a fully custom knife that just happens to run on rep geometry. So I think that's a really cool thing, and I think making rep parts is definitely the best gateway into making balisong related stuff, or making balisongs as a whole, because reps are probably the most commonly modded knife. So if you make cool rep handles, or you make a cool rep reblade, there is a good chance somebody will if it's a good product, there is a good chance somebody with a rep will be out there wanting to buy it. So yeah, reps are very cool. They flip very good. I can't do that combo on my left hand. They flip very good. They are very reliable. I do feel like that reliability will get stale after a while, but that's where the customization and different modifications of the rep come into play. But yeah, that's about it. The Chab. I'm actually not sure if I should say who these are going to, because other countries have different laws. But yeah, final thoughts. Alpha Beasts, just too chunky and too just brick for me, especially Chabs. And the replicants are very, very cool. I couldn't see myself really owning one unless I found a really cheap one. Maybe a few months ago, well, if I would have gotten these to try a few months ago, while balisongs were like my entire life and that's all I did was flip and make balisong content, maybe things would be a little bit different, because customizing a rep seems really cool. But unfortunately, at the point I'm at now with balisongs, which I'll talk about in another video, I don't think a rep is really on the table for me. It's just kind of a lot of work and a lot of effort, and I feel like they're not really unique anymore. A lot of reps have kind of lost their charm because everyone has a custom rep. So it's kind of like, everyone's already done most of what I want to do, so, you know, not that interesting to me anymore. But yeah, that's about it. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you for letting me try these for a little bit, to the people who sent them out, and also the person who's getting them. He said he was cool with me making some blade bias videos about them. So yeah, thank you guys very much for watching. I'll see you guys all again soon. Peace out.